You know, you're taught as an actor, there's no small characters or whatever. So I'm thinking about the whole life of this character. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm the star of the movie. When I think about my preparation for this, it was painful, quite honestly. When the movie came out, when I first saw it, I hated myself.
Mike?
But before I saw it,
Marge?
they had screened it, and I had gotten a phone call from Ethan, who said I was hilarious.
Oh, you look great.
Yeah, so do you, Owie.
And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't understand. I didn't understand why it was funny, because I was completely seeing it from the character's point of view.
There, Ethan.
I had a padded belly, and she had, of course, a pregnant padded belly. And so when I was hugging, both of our bellies were like bouncing against each other.
Oh, what can I get you?
I remember they sent us a tape with people with the Fargo accent. And I remember working on the dialect, but not wanting to, I did it very subtly for the audition.
This is a nice place.
Yeah, you know it's a Radisson, so it's pretty good.
I actually passed on it when I first got the audition, because I was in my like 35, I think, and it was like this guy in his 40s. He was overweight and balding, and I was kind of like, why did they want to see me for this? I didn't get it.
So, Chief Gunderson then. Oh, so, you went and married Norm's son of a Gunderson.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually passed on it, and then they came back, and then I kind of said, okay. And literally, I was almost like a mantra. I was like, I'm Mike Yanagita. I mean, I was trying to convince myself that I was this character, because I felt like it was out here.
Okay.
Well, what about you, Mike? Are you married?
They were shooting her first, but I was so kind of emotionally in it, and Fran was like, you better turn the camera around, you know, because who knew how long I was able to stay in that space.
You mind if I sit over here? I was married to Linda Cooksey.
No, why don't you sit over there? I prefer that.
Huh? Oh. Okay.
I definitely felt like that there was a strong possibility that the scene would be cut. Yeah, I remember thinking that.
Sorry.
Oh, no, just so I can see you. Don't have to turn my neck.
Oh, sure. I understand.
And it wasn't until it came out and I had seen Martin Scorsese and Roger Ebert do their 10 best films of the 90s, and they both picked Fargo, and they played this scene.
By Joel and Ethan Coen.
That once it's on, if it's on television, I'll keep watching the whole thing if I get caught up in it. And there's also that wonderful scene with this Asian American guy. Everyone else seems to be holding back their emotions, and this guy completely disintegrates in
I'll
front of
sit
you.
over here with you, and she says, no, I think you better sit back over there.
And Roger Ebert was saying how
The next morning, she calls her friend, and she finds out everything that guy told her was a lie.
Linda Cooksey.
No, they were. He was bothering Linda for a good year. Really pestering her. Wouldn't leave her alone.
So.
it wasn't until she heard that I was lying in the phone call that it occurred to her to go back to speak to Bill Macy's character. So that was the kind of one of the motivations of this scene, even though it seems like it has nothing to do with the movie. But it's also showing her life.
Sorry.
I did get some flack after it came out by certain segments of the Asian American community that felt that I was perpetuating the stereotype of the weak Asian man, you know. I understood that criticism. I was a little hurt by it. But I remember at the audition when I first met the Coen brothers, I told them, this is the most interesting Asian American character I've ever read in a script before. My yardstick in terms of choosing roles, especially if they're written as Asian, is authenticity.
Linda had leukemia, you know. She passed away.
No.
Perhaps there's a certain kind of mental illness he was struggling with too.
It was long. She fought real hard, Marge.
So as far as my playing it, it was all true. In that moment when I was saying it to her, and that's how I got through the world.
What can you say?
You know, acting is such a mysterious thing. It's like I don't really know how things happen half the time.
Better times.
Through the whole scene, I don't know if I've ever said this to anybody, but I had this image that kind of was in my belly of my mother screaming in pain. So I was holding that. I mean, it's coming up now, you know, just the idea of that. But that's kind of what helped me stay in this. Like I was literally screaming inside my own head through that entire scene in pain.
I always liked you.
Well, I always liked you,
I
Mike.
always liked you so much.
So, Mike, should we get together another time, you think?
No.
And like that moment when I kind of cut her off, you know, I remember that Joel was like, yes, 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 we went, that was really good, you know. So just these little moments I'm just remembering.
I'm sorry. It's, you know, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done this. I should. I thought we'd have a really terrific time.
It's okay, Mike.
You were such a super lady. And then I've been so lonely.
And so at that last moment, it was my opportunity to kind of like take the mask off and just let it go.
It's okay, Mike.
So it took me a while to embrace what I did in the movie. But, you know, one of the things I remember after shooting it, Francis said to me, you know, the crew loved it. And that when the crew loves a scene, then you know it's good. Fargo definitely changed my life as an actor, for sure. Nobody ever goes, Mike, and that never happens to me. Thank God. People don't generally recognize me quite much. I don't know what it is about me, but it's not somebody who's like, Steve Park, you know, I don't get that so much, so.